Okay, this video is going to focus on this head here to make it look like it's more embedded in the card. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all of this pink background. So you can use many tools. You can use the magic wand tool. That usually works pretty good. Just be aware of changing the tolerance as you need to. Contiguous means connected. So there's some sort of variables. Sometimes you have to change these variables for it to meet with your, what you want. So this looks pretty good. I'm just going to delete this. Oops, sorry about that. And you can also use that with a combination of the eraser tool to just clean up the edges here. Now something like hair, I wouldn't be too concerned with these little tiny pieces of hair, because don't forget, you're going to be looking at this from a distance like this. So as much as I enjoy zooming into these areas and working really, really close, just can't get too crazy about it. Just know that these spaces, these tiny little spaces, you're not really going to see. But I do like working pretty close up, so those little tiny areas are done really well. And like I said, from a distance, you're not really going to see them. So like I said, you can use a combination of the magic wand tool and the polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to subtract this area from that selection. And you're going to go ahead and get rid of all of this pink. So I'll be back in a second after I do that. Okay, so I spent a couple minutes and I just trimmed up the face. I got rid of all the pink and sort of got closer to the collar. The reason why I'm keeping the neck is because I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this collar yet. So I'm better off just leaving it for the time being. So now you're going to have some decisions to make. So with this card, I can definitely keep the hat. I can also keep the hair, or I can remove the hat and the hair. You can't really keep the hair without the hat, so that's probably not an option. But if you wanted to keep, let's say I wanted to just keep the hat and not the hair, what I would do is I would make a copy. Make sure I'm on the background layer. You're going to make a copy of the hat. When you select it, you also want to select the outline, like that blue outline around the outside. I'm not really concerned about the feather, but you can certainly take the feather if you want. And I am selecting just the hat. Now notice I'm also selecting outside, because this area I'm going to make a copy of, and it's going to be in front of his head. So if you remember, his hair kind of and his head stuck out off the top, so this will cover it. I'm going to right click, layer via copy. So what it did is it made a copy of that space right there. I'm going to put that hat layer in front of him, so it looks as though, it creates the illusion that this hat is in front, but then there's this other spot, other stuff that's behind him, so it really creates a nice illusion. It also allows me to move this independently, the head, without it affecting anything else. Whereas if I took the eraser tool and just erased his head, where his hat was going to be covering it, I wouldn't have that same flexibility. So if I wanted to use the hat, I can just line up his head so it fits nicely like that. If I ran into a problem where it didn't fit real nicely like it does, what I can do is also, I have the flexibility to make the hat bigger or smaller, to fit the head. So it just happened to work out pretty good where I do not need to change the size. Now, if I wanted the hair to be in front of him, I would be doing the same thing. I would be taking this hair with a polygonal lasso tool or regular lasso tool, select this, layer via copy, put this in front of his face there to make it look like he has the hair in front. But for this demonstration, I am not wanting to use the hair. So the other thing I would have to deal with is to figure out how I want it to, having this collar to be, covered. So if I look at the original Jack, I see he kind of has a V-neck. So what I'm going to do before anything is I'm going to select this V-neck. Now it's a bit challenging because I have that sash that goes on top. I'm just going to select this piece right here. All right, let's select a little bit more. I'll lay via copy. Oh, sorry, make sure you're on the background. Lay via copy. Okay. So what I have here is this collar. So again, I'm going to put this in front of him. So it might be a matter now of stretching this out, moving this around. Like it doesn't look right. It would probably look better if this collar was right here. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to move this in place about right there. Okay. Now I'm being very aware when I'm lining this up. This point should be right underneath his chin. And then I'm also being aware that, let me zoom in so I can show you, is I really want this to line up as well. I'm not concerned about this weird part right over here because I can definitely clean that up, but you know, getting the important parts of it in, getting an idea of what it's going to look like. And you can see if I covered up this bottom area here, this looks pretty good. Okay, so the next video is going to clean up everything that I've done, including it's going to get rid of this the hair that I'm not using, and it's going to clean up this area here and get rid of this over here.